I have named so many people. I think it turned out okay. 因为最近有这么多人开始用小红书 Red Note， 然后再加上这么多人想要学习中文 sometimes the most logical next step is having someone name you in your second language. Like this guy made a video about getting a name in Chinese, and you can see from the comments and the number of replies how many people got their Chinese name from a random stranger on the internet. And at first I wanted to, I guess, politely warn people that sometimes you can get made fun of for your name, or sometimes if you pick a goofy name, it might affect your first impressions. But then I thought about the 6 years that I taught English in Taiwan, and I thought about all the kids I've named and some of the adults I've helped to name, and I came to a completely different conclusion. Whenever we started teaching a new class, we'd get a whole new wave of students. A lot of them came into class with just their original Chinese name, their legal name, and they wanted to have a name in English because that would make learning the language more fun. Usually I'd make a list of like 10 names that I thought suited a particular kid, and I'd go through it with them, and they'd pick the one they liked best. Somehow we always end up with a lot of Jeremys, but I had an Arthur, and I had another kid called Mateo. And some of the kids would come in with names that were way more off the grid. Like I had a kid named Hubble, like the telescope. He loved science, he was super smart, and he was one of the coolest kids in the class. And all of this was so fun to think about because it reminded me of when I first started learning Chinese when I was like 14, and my first Chinese teacher gave me the name Tang Wei. And in the following years of continuing to learn, I had a lot of people say like, isn't that a girl's name? And I always really wanted to change my name to something that would get made fun of less. So I did a bunch of research into new characters, and I asked my Chinese speaking friends what they thought about this new list, and I finally landed on the name that I liked best, which was Tang Zekai. And every time I use this name to introduce myself now, people's reactions are sort of like, that's kind of nerdy, or maybe they just don't remember the name at all. And while all of this is happening, I'm teaching kids, and they have a hard time pronouncing my name in English, Trevor, and they say teacher Chuavo, and that's not to make fun of their pronunciation, but they did eventually land on teacher Chuabing, and Chuabing literally means crushed ice, like a snow cone, and now that's my name. So I've been circling around the topic a lot, but I realized this is what I want to say. When someone is helping you choose a new name in a new language, or you're helping someone else choose their second name, whether you end up as one of the 500 Johns or you end up as the one Hubble, the main thing is whenever you introduce yourself to someone new in English, Chinese, or any other language, you want to feel okay with it. Sometimes that means you get used to loving your own name. Sometimes that means you eventually decide you want to change your name. And sometimes you just have to accept that everyone calls you Snow Cone now. Your name does not have to define your entire life. But I feel like, this is kind of cheesy, names at their best are a gift that other people help us give ourselves. So if you get your new Chinese name or your new English name from a random stranger on the internet, hell yeah, you can be Helicopter today, you can be Strawberry tomorrow, and then you can be Alicia in 2 years. I don't care. You just have to be happy with it. As long as you're honest with yourself, I think other people will feel that too. And keep your mind open to the possibilities.